You'll find them in the shadows, underground, and hidden from plain view, like in this abandoned school. Our driver is tense. The area has a reputation for being unsafe, a meeting spot for heroin addicts from the small town of Garela, 2 kilometers from the Pakistani border. We've arranged to meet 2 drug users who've agreed to speak to us. Mistrust hangs heavy in the air. Police raids are frequent.
Don't be afraid.
He's one of us.
In the black t-shirt is 23-year-old Jeet. His friend in the blue t-shirt is Sunny. Both of them have been smoking heroin occasionally for 2 years.
When it melts, you can tell if it's mixed with impurities. Good heroin's golden in color.
No syringes. Jeet and Sunny inhale the white pulp that's been imported through Afghanistan and which has been transported here through neighboring Pakistan.
In our village, everyone uses it. In my group of friends, there's about 30 users. And even those that aren't addicted have at least tried it once or twice.
And where do you buy it?
Everyone here sells it. Farmers, shopkeepers. Of course, it isn't sold legally, but it's available under the table. Nobody will openly say that they sell it, but the chemists know who's selling, and they tell buyers where to get it from. The minimum dose is 500 rupees.
500 rupees or 7 euros. 1 gram here is sold between 10 to 20 times cheaper than in the West. But even then, for most people in Punjab, heroin is expensive. Jeet and Sunny come from relatively well-off families. Jeet has a job and Sunny is supported by his father.
World number 1 है ना ये drug. We have no tension after this juice. Your brain, we are totally free. Very free. Totally free. We know this is very dangerous poison. This is like a poison.
A poison that has been available in abundant quantities in their village in recent years. In addition to heroin, there's also opium and smack, a form of low-grade heroin and substitutes that are abused by the poor. At home, Jeet is well regarded. With his pharmacology degree, he's found work with a drug company and he has a steady income. The mood is cheerful, at least on the surface. After her son leaves, his mother breaks down. She remembers the trouble her family has faced. Since then, Jeet has promised her he'll stop.
When I asked him to stop taking drugs, he threatened to commit suicide by jumping under a truck or overdosing. Anyway, he's already done that. He had an accident and one day he swallowed too many pills. We would like him to go abroad and find a good job.
The fates of Jeet and Sunny are symbolic of those of an entire generation in Punjab, a state in northern India with nearly 30 million residents. Many of them are Sikhs. These turban men have a reputation as fierce warriors. It is this macho, masculine community that is being ravaged by drug abuse. According to government figures, 3 out of 4 young Punjabi men are addicted to one drug or another. It's a difficult figure to believe, but in the villages next to the border with Pakistan, we had a chance to find out. Punjab's border with Pakistan is 500 kilometers long. It is an area under constant surveillance, one of the most closely guarded borders in the world, and yet tons of heroin are passed through it every year. To understand how, we've come to meet the men who regulate the traffic, landowners who live close to the border. Sukhdev Singh has 20 hectares of land. His fields extend into the no-man's land created by the Indian government to secure the border. He employs 50 agricultural laborers.
Just over there, that's the border. And you can see the channel here along the field. That goes to the border, and then it passes under the barbed wire. Farmers place irrigation pipes in the channel, and then they pass the packets of drugs through the pipes.
A secret irrigation network linking India and Pakistan. It is a surprising discovery, but that's not all. The Indian government allows farmers whose lands have been divided by the security zone to tend to their fields during the day. They are only separated from Pakistan by a single line of barbed wire. Many of these farmers have become drug smugglers, using Pakistani SIM cards that Indian authorities cannot trace. Doesn't the presence of border guards make it difficult?
They participate in the traffic. They receive money.
It sounds easy then.
Not at all, it's very hard. We can only do it at night when the rice fields are very high and the farmers are difficult to spot, in spite of the full moon.
According to him, it's easier on the Pakistani side, with the Afghan conflict absorbing a large part of the border guards. Traffickers have a free rein. Some, like this retired Indian army man, even believe the influx of drugs is part of a strategy by India's traditional enemy, Pakistan, to weaken the Indian defense system.
The Pakistani government will never say it officially, but they have a policy of sending drugs to Punjab so that people here become addicted. They want our hospitals to be filled with addicts, and they want us to become weak.
Drugs as weapons. There are many Indians who are convinced that this is the case. In 2009, the army recruitment drive in this region ended in failure. 8,000 candidates were not enough to fill 400 positions. Young, fragile and weak, and many of them were addicts. Drug rehabilitation centers are packed like this one in Amritsar. Men, women of all ages and social backgrounds. This policeman wasn't afraid to come in his uniform, but he refuses to talk.
I have trouble getting up in the morning, but otherwise it's better.
Very good. Have you been taking anything?
No.
I think it has gone to the epidemic proportions. Even the policemen are affected.
And the army?
Some part of army. Only a few places.
Government?
Yes, government officials are affected.
So it's really getting every layer of society?
Yeah, it is everybody. Nobody is immune to it. It has invaded every part, every person of the society.
And there are many who are profiting from this epidemic. In recent years, numerous private rehabilitation centers have sprung up around the region. Families have been ruined by the questionable therapies, unexplained deaths. Only 1 in 5 facilities is legal. The proliferation of pharmacies is also surprising. They outnumber grocery stores in certain neighborhoods. Without a prescription and at very low prices, we were able to buy strong narcotic-based drugs. Jeet, the young heroin smoker of Garela, sells medicine, but consumes them too. Barbiturates, cough syrup, steroids, painkillers. He's tried everything. He's interested by our purchases.
A friend told me that these drugs increase your sexual performance, so I tried them for a month or two. I became addicted. If I didn't take them when I woke up, I'd get very sore legs.
And he's not the only one.
The truckers, drivers, and especially workers, they can't do their job without drugs. There are people who swallow 100 pills at once, some even 500. You're completely wasted after that. You no longer need heroin, no longer need alcohol. You're set for 24 hours.
Jeet assures us, as he does with his mother, that he no longer takes pills.
Tell me, these injections, do the journalists really need them?
He'd like to use a part of our purchases. Drug dependency is so strong in the region that even politicians use it to win votes.
In Punjab, that's turning out
A scandal broke out last January, 1 week before regional elections. The Election Commission seized 300,000 capsules of medicines and bottles of syrup that were to be distributed to voters. 2,500 kilos of poppy husk, the extremely popular opium powder, and 10 million euros worth of heroin. The party that won here is the Akali Dal, a Sikh traditionalist movement. Their religion condemns even smoking cigarettes, so it's difficult for party members to concede officially that drugs were freely distributed during the elections. But off camera, their statements leave no room for doubt.
So I cannot say in front of the camera that all these things are going in the system. But everything is there. People ask for it. Truly speaking, I can say that you cannot fight, you cannot contest any election nowadays without liquor and all.
Liquor and drugs?
Yes.
One of the areas worst affected by these political distributions is Makbulpura, close to Amritsar. In 15 years, nearly 300 addicts have died here. They've left behind their children. The Singh family has created in their own home a free school for the children of Makbulpura. Out of the 650 students, nearly half are orphans.
Where does your father get the money from?
He takes it to my grandmother.
Does he beat you?
But he shouts at me.
Drug traffickers have such a stronghold over the area that they have no trouble in convincing pharmacists and drug addicts in targeting the school. The attacks are regular. The Singh family has not given up. India's breadbasket since the 1970s, the land of the Sikhs is now the hub of a booming international trade in drugs. Can the government of Punjab stem this flow? Does it even want to? At the border and in cities and villages, checkpoints have been reinforced. Since the beginning of the year, authorities have intercepted nearly 300 kilos of heroin, nearly 3 times the amount they caught in 2011. But it's still a drop in the vast ocean of drugs flowing through Punjab.